Michael, a big announcement from the club today regarding player departures. How would you sum up the contribution of those that are leaving?
Individually, excellent contributions. As a group, we're losing a lot of experience, a lot of quality there. If I go through them, obviously Alan, obviously a Hall of Fame member now, and has been a fantastic servant to the club in 2 periods, and has had many fantastic moments where he's shown his class as a goalkeeper. Phil Alander, obviously we've not had available for a long time as he struggled with injuries, but when Phil come in, it was a big signing for the club, and the partnership he built alongside Connor Goldson was probably the foundation to the league winning season in 2020-21 when we was invincible, and Phil's been a big loss to us. Scotty Arfield was it pulls on the heartstrings big time, because he, as a man, as a person, he's been absolutely fantastic around the place. He's adored by the fans as well, and not only his teammates and the staff. That was a real amicable conversation between the two of us over the last couple of months, ongoing conversation around playing time and around players coming in and how the squad will look and what Scott needs as well moving forward. So a difficult decision to come to, that one, but I think it's right for all parties. Ryan Kent's contribution has been fantastic for the club, certainly in big matches. If you think back in Europe and domestically, this season's not gone the way Ryan would like it to go, but certainly he's been an excellent player for Rangers, a boy that I've known since he was a young boy. And Alfredo, for the outlay to what we got back, he's had an outstanding contribution to the club, European top goal scorer, and was player of the year last year as well, before suffering an injury, and he's had a stop-start season. So their contribution to Rangers has been huge. Obviously with Stephen Davis having the long-term injury, want to help him through his rehab and out the other side and to full fitness, and then a decision will be made by Stephen as to whether he's going to continue playing or not. So that one's separate to those 5. But yeah, it's a sad day in many ways, and I'm sure the fans will show their appreciation to those players tomorrow night in the last home game. They've all given really big contributions to the club. But it's also a sign, obviously, that there's going to be some change in the squad this summer as well.
Now that it is confirmed, particularly with Ryan and Alfredo, what stage did that ever get to? Were they offered the chance to stay? How did that process go?
No, not in the time I was here. Neither was offered a contract in the time since I come back from November. There may have been some discussions before that with Ross and Gio, but in the time I was here, the relationship I had with the 2 boys, it was important they focused on football. I came in at a time where the team wasn't performing well on the pitch. We parked some of those conversations to earlier this month, and then it was confirmed on our side that we think it's right for all parties to look for something new, and I think the players were in agreement as well. There wasn't, we all seemed to be on the same page. Sometimes things run their course, and I think both boys, it's fair to say, need a new environment, and that hopefully will give them a burst of energy and for them to get back to their best, because I don't think this season's been their best season. And certainly for us, I think in those positions we need to bring some new faces in. And I think over time, when you look back, their contribution to Rangers will be looked upon very fondly.
Did your mind change at any point? Because there was at times we'd spoken to you where you seemed keen for possibly Ryan and Alfredo to extend their stay here.
Not really, no. My relationship with both boys is super positive. But looking at the job coming in, you have to say things when you're in the midst of the season. But the conversations I had with those 2 boys, we was always on the same page.
Now that you've obviously got places in the squad to fill, just how excited are you in terms of what you can do with this squad now? Yeah,
of course, there are big gaps to fill. There are big gaps to fill, but you know that does give people a fantastic opportunity. A lot of those guys, Alfredo's the only one that we inherited in 2018. The others signed into the project, and they've all been fantastic there for 5, and in Alfredo's case, longer. And have really seen this club move from where it was in 2018 to where it is today, which is a much healthier place. So there'll be important players coming in to fill those roles, and it's important that I give the players coming in no shadows around them. They get the opportunity to come in and be main players, and that's certainly an exciting time for me and the staff, and I'm sure for the fans as well.
Does that rebuild officially start tomorrow then? I think I've seen some quotes from you saying that there may be a new signing at Ibrox for the game tomorrow night. Yeah,
listen, it's been starting, in the background for the last 2 or 3 months, if I'm honest, but certainly you'll start to see some announcements now. I think it was right we did it in this way, that we got to where we were in the season. We have games to play, we still have 2 to play, but it's important that we allow the fans to show appreciation to those players, because there's some names in there that the fans hold close to them. So it's important we got to the right time to do it, and yeah, once this has been done, that certainly allows us the opportunity to announce some exciting new players coming into the building.
John McLaughlin and Scott Wright still under contract, I believe. Are they open to offers now, or are these 2 players who you see as part of your squad for next season?
Listen, there's a few players in the squad that I'll have conversations with and have had conversations with about their future, but I wouldn't pick those 2 names out as specific ones. I just think that there's other players in the squad that want to know where their future lies around minutes this season and around where I see them in the grander scheme of things. So, yeah, it wouldn't be right to name certain names.
In terms of Scott Arfield, you said it tugged on the heartstrings. He's a very popular person. Was there any way at all where, at any point, you thought, I really need to keep Scott?
Only selfishly on my part, but then you have to live the reality of it, and he's a key player and he gives a lot of energy to the building and his teammates, but he needs to feel that he's obviously going to be involved and play from the start or have a significant involvement, and I can't promise him that.
In terms of the game tomorrow night, how many of these players who are leaving can you see starting or featuring?
We haven't decided on the squad. We've got a few players come back to trains day: Barisic, Morelos, Kamara, Cholak, Scott Wright, Rabbi Matondo all returned to train today. But I need to. We've literally been in 20 minutes. I need to see where they're at physically and make the right decision. The 3 games in 6 days at the end of the season isn't ideal, considering we have players like Suter that's not done that in a long time, and 1 or 2 others come back from injury. So we'll rotate in the next 2 games anyway.
Because it's an important game, similar to Sunday, probably a more meaningful game for Hearts in terms of what they've got at stake.
Yeah, but if you start naming those players and they go in the team, I don't think anyone can argue whether Rangers are stronger or weaker. We was missing 12 or 13 players at the weekend and put on a really strong performance. I was delighted with the team. You're right, it's a big game for Hearts, but Rangers this season were unbeaten at home in the league. There's 1 game to go. We want to make sure we do that. In recent years, that's only happened in the year that we went unbeaten and won the league. So it's a nice thing for us as a team to do. It's our last game in front of our home fans that have supported us through thick and thin this season. They were there again in numbers at the weekend, and we're happy with the team's display. And it's important we keep going. I'll pick a team with the right energy, with the players I feel that are in the right place, the right energy. It'll be a strong team, and we're looking to win the game.
Michael, you confirmed 5 going today. Have you got a ballpark number of others who may be moved on?
No, because I'm manager of a football team, and some people have got to be, otherwise I've got no one to coach, have I? So no, I think that there's no ballpark number. We want to reduce the number of players in the squad. We've got a big squad. We want to re-energise in terms of age and in terms of people's motivation. It's a fantastic club to sign for, and there's a lot of expectation. But you think of the history of the club and the pressure of winning. It's a fantastic club for people to come and sign for. So I'm looking for real energy for the players that are coming in, and I think a reduced, smaller size squad as well allows me to make sure that everyone's really engaged and feels motivated around each fixture. You know, in the league now, you're allowed 9 subs, you're allowed more in European competition. I really want a tight squad there where everybody feels like they're close to playing and where everybody is climbing the mountain, if you like.
Any further forward with Malik Tillman?
No, I spoke to Malik afterwards. The conversation between the 2 clubs is still ongoing. I think there's a call planned for after the weekend between the 2, but it was nice to see Malik at the weekend and obviously win another award for the fine contribution he's made this season.
Michael, in terms of the strikers that have played for Rangers over the years, where do you think Morelos sits?
Well, in numbers and certainly financial outlay, had been an unknown when he came in, probably was third choice striker when he arrived in the club, so he's gone on to do something fantastic from a young boy that arrived here from so far away. And I think at times, if you look back to the games against Porto and Feyenoord, I thought I know that's going back a couple of seasons, but he was at a fantastic level. Even in the middle of last season, in the key games in Europe, I thought Alfredo was excellent. So I think that's for others to judge. But when they look back at the outlay we paid for the boy and the goal contribution over the time he was here, we'll look back on fondly.
Next challenge is finding the next Morelos. How do you deal with that? How are you feeling about that?
I've been thinking about it since November, so it's I've had a lot of time to think and ponder. 27 games as well. You look at your team and you think maybe what is missing, where do we need to go now, what type of energy, what type of striker will help us. Good strikers cost quite a bit of money, so we're away and very much down the line with some of our thinking on that.